Hi everyone, it's Jay from Mitosu Crafts. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to our channel. We're independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrators based in the UK, and today I'm sharing a thank you card and gift for our customers. So it can easily be changed with different sentiment for different occasions. So we'll be using the Curvy Christmas stamp set, mainly the Curvy stars, the coordinating curvy dies, and for the sentiment, using the well said. As I said, the card can be altered for different occasions, and this stamp set is great for those type of cards. For inks, we'll only be using Memento and coloring with the Real Red Stampin' Blends. I'll be embellishing it with the braided linen trim as well as the iridescent pearls. And for quickness, we'll be using the Banner's Pick-a-Punch to create the tail ends and the arrow for the banners. So let's get started. For the cardstock, you will need basic black, and I'm using my normal card size, which is 21 centimeters by 14.6 centimeters, scored in half at 10.5, or that is 8 1/4 by 5 3/4 of an inch, scored at 4 1/8 of an inch. So use your normal card base wherever you are in the world. And for the matte and layer, Whisper White, just the normal one, 9.9 centimeters by 14 centimeters, and I've got two, one for the front and one for the inside, or that is 3/7/8 of an inch by 5.5 inches, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller than the card front. So as mentioned, wherever you are, for US and Canadian viewers, you can just have your layer 1/4 of an inch smaller, and you will need 3 strips of basic black for the banners using the Banners Pick-a-Punch, which is 8.9 centimeters by 1.3, or 3.5 by half inch, 7.6 centimeters by 1.3, or that is 3 inches, and 6.7 centimeters by 1.3 again, or that is 2/5/8 of an inch. I also have for the sentiment, normal Whisper White, which is 4.1 centimeters or 1/5/8 of an inch. So that is for the card. I've also pre-cut my Real Red braided linen trim at 12 inches, or that is 30.5 centimeters. And for the wraparound gift, normal Whisper White, which measures 24 centimeters by 7 centimeters, or that is 9/7/16 of an inch. Is that correct? Yeah, by 2 3/4 of an inch. So I'll go through the scoring in a minute. You also need basic black for the banners, which measures 4.2 centimeters by 2.5, or 1/11/16 of an inch by 1 inch, and 4.8 centimeters by 1.9, which is 1/7/8 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. And finally, for the sentiment, normal Whisper White at 4.5 centimeters by 1.3, or 1 3/4 of an inch by half an inch. And the same goes for the braided linen trim, so 12 inch or 30.5 centimeters. So we're gonna start off with a card, and as mentioned, we'll be using the stars. And for this card, we're actually gonna flatten the curve by staying at home and crafting and giving our cards to our friends and family. So you will also need for the tools is the I block. So this block is quite large, so you just need to or this stamp design is quite big. So to flatten that curve, you just basically pull your stamps and then press it down. There you go. And what you could then do is turn it over and press down just to make that stick to the block even more. So you can use the stamp apparatus for this, but it's quite uneasy stamping because we are just gonna repeat stamp on the Whisper White. So I'll just get myself copy paper. So you can see, you'll need to make sure that your stamp is clean on the other side. There we go. And then do that again. There we go. So we're gonna, as mentioned, repeat stamping on the Whisper White, and we're gonna turn it over as well. So with the memento, I will go on to the block and ink that up, and then stamp. So you can start off halfway through the page and off, if that makes sense. So you just need to repeat that and changing the orientation. So when I first did it, I went that way. So I'm gonna turn it over and then move that slightly off, like so. And then you can continue along the page. So I'm gonna fast forward the video and you can just watch me stamp it. As mentioned earlier, we are independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrators based in the UK. So if you live in the UK, France, Germany, Austria, or the Netherlands, you'll be able to purchase current Stampin' Up! Products from our online shop. Do add in the current host code, which can be found on our website at mitosocrafts.com to get an extra thank you from us next month, which could be this card, as well as the free iridescent pearls when you purchase more than £50 worth of products before P&P. There we go. So we have our layer stamped repeatedly with the stars design. So once that's done, and we're still on our stamping spree, we can just stamp our inside. So you can do it either on first generation or second generation, but for this one I'm gonna keep it flat. And I will do it this way. So you can see the different tone that it gives with the second generation, and that can just be your insert done. So we are going to use the banner punch even for our banners. So the way that I've cut it down, so this one is into too hard to do because it's long enough, but I'll show you a tip for the wraparound later. So I tend to go over the fishtail end first, punch it, and you can, if you can't if you can't pull it out, just use your, take your pick tool and then insert it on the other side. So there you go, easy peasy. And then for the second one, what I did find is another tip is when you're cutting your strips, just cut it just shy of the line. So we've added the measurements for the small, medium, and large sizes that fits. So just cut it just kind of like shy of that line, so then you won't have, so this one I think I cut it on the line, so it's slightly bigger than the groove. There we go. I think I need to restick that. And then last one, that's it. So that's all my banners done. I've also gone ahead and pre-cut gold foil. So I'm using 2 of the sprigs or leafing from the Curvy dies in gold foil sheet. There we go. So that's all done, and we'll do the sentiment as well. So for the sentiment, this one, what you could, I'm going to use the friend stamp, and I normally, if it's a red wrapper, so you can't see through it, but you do have a straight line on there. So when you align it on your block, do align the edge of that block straight against the sentiment, because sometimes when you're going to stamp and you look at the friend on the actual printed image, sometimes you might have stuck it on a bit wonky. So hopefully this will work, and I'm just gonna stamp that in. No, I think I needed the bigger one. Where's my big ones? So for the card, I actually needed a bigger size. This one is for the wraparound. So this size again is the 4.1 by 1.9. Okay, so we're gonna stamp the friend in first generation centrally. He says, yeah, that looks all right. I couldn't put my head over it, but stamped it as you can. And we're also gonna stamp the 2 stars, but this time, so what I did was I just put it on the table and picked it up with my block, and we're gonna stamp that in second generation. So stamp off, and then randomly stamp the second generation ink onto your sentiment. There we go. And we can just cut off the end with paper snips. Just to give it a slant on there. So with the braided linen trim, we'll actually be doing a faux bow. so it doesn't have the knot that gives height to the card. And I first saw this technique from Marcy Denning's video. So she's from Canada and she does YouTube videos, and she's part of the Creating Kindness design team as well. So gives give Marcy some love and check out her channel. But I'll do that when the card is done or done. Yeah. So I'm just gonna fold this in half, burnish it. So use your favorite adhesive. I'm just gonna have multi-purpose liquid glue straight onto the card. And you should have a nice border around. Here we go. Might as well do this as well, the inside. And before we add all of the other elements, we can color the stars. So choose a star and color it with the real red Stampin' Blends marker. So I'm just gonna add a couple of reds onto here. And then we're gonna have the sentiment straight in the middle. So I'm just gonna add a couple, just do random ones. And then big one. Onto there. You can stamp the stars as well, but I find it's just because it does align with the big one and yeah, the small one as well. So these two aligns the stars, but it can be a bit fiddly. So I'm just gonna add it with the Stampin' Blends marker. So there we go, and I'll just add a couple of dots, red dots here and there in the smaller one. So you can add more if you want to, but I'm gonna keep it like so, and then I'll double check afterwards to see if I want to add some more. So we have the longest banner, and I'm just gonna add that there. It does hide that one, but never mind, I can add some more. So use the long one first and place it where you want it on your card, because the length of it is good to have as a guide. And then we're gonna add the second longest one there. So use the pointed and the indented line to align your cards together. And then the third one we're gonna bring up and we're gonna add the sentiment on that. So we're gonna have that sentiment prop up quite centrally. And that is gonna go on top there. Before we add that, we're gonna add our bow onto there. So we're gonna do a faux bow with the braided linen trim. So use your glue dot. So place it where you're gonna add your bow. Ooh. So you can flatten that one, do a loop, and then go back in and do another loop round. So we need another glue dot there. Just to keep it in place. It does still give height to it, but not as much as a knot. I'm using the the sticky, so it doesn't stick to my fingers. And then loop around again, like so. So you have your nice loop. I'm just gonna make sure that that goes. I'm following the flow and keeping that flat as well. There we go. There. And with the tails, you can hold it and curl it. You could also use your take your pick tool to curl it even more. So pinch it and then roll your take your pick tool. And then twist it round. So do the same for this one. Or if you have a longer piece of metal. Ooh, barbecue. Kebab stick. But that works as well. So you can continue rolling that as much as you want, but it just gives it a nice curl. There we go. So whilst that's done, I'm just gonna add this on top and then add our, where are we? These. So I do have a smaller piece. I like to use our offcuts, so I knew that I was gonna use the small one. So that's what I'm gonna be using in a smaller piece. There we go. The longer one I can use for the wrap. So the small piece, I'm just gonna insert inside here. I didn't glue all of it down, so just be aware of that. And I'm just gonna add dots on there. It's a bit floppy. And then that just gets added on to there. Like so. I'm gonna get mini dimensionals to prop that in place. So I'm doing it more in the center because I want to be able to insert my other leafing. So that is going onto there. Maybe that's too curly. There you go. And then finally the leaf, the second leaf, and then I'm just gonna add iridescent pearls. So because you have the glue dot onto there. You can add that to hide that glue dot as well. So that's done. And we're gonna add the iridescent pearls. So this is actually gonna be the gift for our customers who purchase £50 worth of products before P&P using the host code for November 2020. And I'm just gonna add another one on the left there. So that is the card. We can add more reds onto here so we can see hints of red a bit more. There we go. So we're gonna crack on with the wraparound for the gift. So for the wraparound for the iridescent pearls gift, the measurements, what I've done was I actually measured the cellophane and then use that as a basis and then just have an extra excess to add the glue. So for that you will need to score on one side at 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch and then turn it around 180 degrees and then score at 13.4, or that is 5.25. So the 5.25 is slightly smaller as well, but that's the closest measurement, and that is the two score lines for that. And I'm gonna have it that way. So the smaller score line is on the right hand side and the bigger one on the left. And we're actually gonna use our curve, the dotty curve. So keep in mind where your cut line is, and we're just gonna align that down towards the right hand side and probably 3/8 of an inch on there down, and use washi tape to keep it in place. I've got one here and I'm adding it there so then it's not gonna mark my card on top. So we'll bring the Suki in. Do check out the description below for the product links of items that I've used today, which can be purchased from our online shop. So it cuts off a nice curve on your wraparound, and because you align the edge to that edge, it just cuts it off without having to snip any excess to get the bottom bit off. So we're gonna do some more stamping and continuing flattening the curve by stamping in Memento again. So we're just gonna ink that up. And I'm just gonna align it more towards the right hand side. So you can either mask it, but I'm just gonna stamp it as is. There you go. Clean your stamp, and then we're gonna use that curve to follow. And as a guide, so take that off. Ooh, there you go. Lay it on your workspace and then pick it up. And then we're just gonna stamp that curve curvy star, along the edge. So again, you can use your real red to add red hints across your wraparound. And then we're going to build up the image or the sentiment as well along the right hand side. So I'm just going to fold that to see where it is because the light I can't see. And we're going to use the thanks sentiment this time. So in the mini Whisper White, ink that up. I'll see if I can stamp this one straight. Is that? Nope. See, I didn't align it properly. Right, let's see. That looks straight-ish. Or you can, it's just easier to pre-cut your card, but it's just aligning it afterwards. Yeah, that looks all right. Slightly at the bottom, but that's okay. So because we're gonna have that there, we're also gonna do some second generation and third generation stamping. So ink up, stamp off, and then just carry on stamping around. Oh, I didn't stamp off then. Stamp off. And we're just gonna build the thanks around it. So something for the background onto there. And for the banners, so these is what I meant about, like, it's quite short. So what you could do is have your banner and have a sticky note or a longer piece that matches the height of it. Do I actually, did I prepare some? I had some. Here we go. And use washi tape. I find the sticky note might be too flimsy, so I do have that. And I'm just gonna add the sticky note. And we're just gonna do the fishtail anyway. So just make sure it's flushed across. Add your washi tape and then push that in. Just double check that it's actually in, like so. And then press, pull it out, and then take off your washi tape. So that one's done, and then we'll do the same for this one. Make sure it's flushed, washi tape, and then push it in the punch. Check that it's actually straight. Why is that not straight? There we go. And then press it. So you have your fishtails, and we're gonna make that as banners. So now we're gonna have our So now we're just going to finish up and then do the wraparound. So you already have your creases or score lines. But before we do, I'm actually going to stamp it on our Mitosu craft stamp. So I'm just going to stamp that on the back. There we go. And then we're going to add that on top. And then that's going to hide. So as mentioned earlier, you can mask that off, but it looks okay. Add a bit of glue. So because it doesn't fully meet at the end, you can just add glue on that edge. And if you want to secure it a bit more, add glue on this end. Okay, but don't go all the way down. There. Just make sure you wait until it dries. There we go. So that is done, and we're just gonna add all of these elements. So I've gone ahead and pre-cut again using this die from the Curvy set with gold foil, and I'm gonna have the banners going like that. Going like that. So add glue there, and the top edge matching. And that's gonna go under here. So you are covering most of those tanks, but it does just give interest on the background as well. And that's gonna go straight on. We're gonna add our leafings. So one going this way, just under the point, and the other one going this way. So 1, 2, that way. So I don't actually need all of that because it's gonna get hidden. So yeah, so this idea is, although it is for our customers, you can change it, and for your crafty friends, if you're wanting to gift them any Stampin' Up products, you can start it up with some decorations, and you can see what's gonna be on there as well. So this one is gonna go on top like there, but again, we're gonna use the braided linen trim to add a faux bow. So add that there, use that there, and then that's the 12-inch again. So I'm going this way, half of it going that way, and then add another blue dot in the middle. And then that's gonna go like so. Curl it up. So I'm pressing there. And then curl that down. I think because that's slightly smaller, use your pencil. I think it's best to do it that way. or take your pick tool. And then this way, this one. To finish up. And then finally, um, the sentiment. So you can add it on mini dimensionals, but I'm actually going to roll mini glue dot because it's already quite heighty, quite tall, and I'm going to keep that onto there. So I'm adding mini glue dot or rolled up glue dot. So just keep it in its roll it up, and it does give it a good height already. And I'm just going to add that onto, ooh, I should have picked it up from there. And then, ooh, bless you, Minnie. Minnie just sneezed. And then just roll that up again. So it's probably better to pick it up from like that. I should have shown you first. And that's just going to be added onto there. So I've just aligned the right hand edge as well as I'm hiding that knot. Here we go. The card and wraparound idea using Curvy Christmas stamp set, flattening that curve to have a different look with the stamp set, ideal for friends and family gift giving, or for our case, for customers who purchase from our online shop. And if you purchase more than £50 worth of products, you will get this free iridescent pearls as well as a free tutorial from the Stamping Glam Squad next month. Thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, bye!